Welcome to yet another most interesting journey into the Word. I say interesting because today's Gospel can reveal so many interesting things about ourselves that we may not have realized before, despite reading this Gospel passage many times in our life. Today we commemorate the passion and martyrdom of St. John the Baptist, and we read the Gospel from Mark chapter 6, verses 17 to 29. Let's read it from a different perspective. Believe it or not, like most passages in the Bible, it is so relevant when you see and connect the incident and personalize it to your own life. And hence, the title for today's reflection is, Are We in Herod's Boat? Now, let's use today's gospel to learn how to read Bible passages and learn valuable lessons and raise our realization and reach reawakening and enlightenment. And the secret is based on 3 I's. Firstly, immerse yourself into the passage and see the connection between yourself and the passage. Next, internalize its contents and connect them with your own life and daily realities. And then, intimatize yourself with the lessons in the passage and ask yourself, what do I learn from it? And what should I follow? And what should I avoid? And by doing the necessary changes, you'll continue to grow in your faith life and spiritual journey towards personal faith growth and improvement. And you'll be able to reach major reawakening, spiritual maturity, and developing a deeper understanding of the Word and eventually attain enlightenment. And so today's gospel passage is the ideal starting point, because you'll discover over the next few minutes that we are indeed in Herod's boat. Remember, I said today's passage is very interesting because we could be in Herod's boat. And here's why. Have you ever been tempted? Have you ever gone through being torn between 2 decisions and you made the wrong one? For example, very often we are torn between 2 loves. Love of the flesh and the world. And while we know deep inside, we also have a special love for God. And yet very often we end up struggling to choose what we know deep inside is right. Let's move on. Have you ever trusted certain people and have been betrayed by them? Have you ever been surrounded by people who are selfish and self-centered and are more focused on getting things their way, even at your expense? Have you ever made rash decisions on the spur of the moment, following your ego and when you were weak and vulnerable? And has your ego and pride been the cause of others' suffering? If you say yes to any one of these, or some of it, or all of it, then verse by verse you will see it all in today's gospel passage. And that's why we could be indeed in Herod's boat. And it's so interesting. And the lessons to learn from today's passage is, how do we get out of Herod's boat and avoid getting trapped in such situations for the rest of our life? Let's quickly study verse by verse. As you read verse 17 to 19, realize that whatever Herod did to St. John the Baptist was on account of what Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, was instigating him to do, because she had a grudge against St. John and wanted to kill him. So as you read verses 17 to 19, check also if we or those around us are having hidden agenda and revenge on their mind. It can be against us or someone else, especially those who are good and righteous. As you read verse 20 about Herod's respect for St. John as a righteous and holy man, and that he wanted to protect him. See also his deep interest in listening to St. John's preaching and teaching, although at times St. John's teaching challenged him. So let's ask ourselves, whenever our conscience pricks, do we realize that God is trying to warn us about something wrong within us that we are thinking about or practicing or planning to do in our life? As you read verse 21 to 23, reflect on the following. Do you realize on special occasions and celebrations like birthdays, anniversaries, and festive occasions, we are more emotional and we are in a different frame of mind and heart and spirit. And very often we may say or do things out of the spur of the moment, out of being too emotional. Or some of those statements and commitments and promises may work to our advantage or very often against us in the long run. And that's exactly what happened to King Herod that day. As we dwell on verse 24 to 25, look at how Herodias executed her long awaited plan. Let's be aware that it's when we are in such emotional highs or lows that people around us could use us or abuse us and take advantage of our state of mind and heart and spirit and execute their evil plans, which they have been waiting for a long, long time. As you'll see in the case of Herodias in today's gospel. As we dwell on verses 26 and 27, put yourself in Herod's boat and check if our ego and pride and rash decisions have cost others dearly in the past. If so, let's make it a point from today to get out of Herod's boat for the rest of our life. Sometimes what we say or do or decide on the spur of the moment can be character assassinations, where we belittle someone by our words and actions. And what we say may be negative and could jeopardize their reputation and even their life and future. Hope today's gospel passage has given us a new insight on how to read a Bible passage and derive valuable lessons from it. Hope it has also helped us discover how to get out of Herod's boat for the rest of our life. God bless our day and the rest of our life. Amen. And so be it in our life. Amen.